mainland China, and it was developed in the Siloam Temple. And the creator was a nun, a female nun. Her name was Moi, and she developed the principles of Wing Chun. And then before she put those principles into practice, the temple was raided and burnt down by the government at the time. And she fled the temple and passed her knowledge on to an orphan girl whom she called Wing Chun, and that's how the style developed. So the name Wing Chun is a name of a person, so this martial art is devoted to a person, rather than a lot of other martial arts that have names devoted to animals and things like that. Rahsun, what into it? Sifu Rahsun from the United States. He's here for the next few months as a guest instructor here.
Just to go a little further, the system has been passed down from the priestess of Moi to the young girl in Wing Chun. Eventually she taught it to her husband that she married a few years later. That's a funny story. When she first started Wing Chun, she would hold these contests. She was a beautiful young girl, and she was a master of the system that was developed to be more effective than any other system that had come before it. She would hold these fighting contests on a drum about 5 feet in diameter, maybe 2 feet high. And the contest is, 2 people get on the drum, they fight, whoever falls off the drum is the loser. So she would hold these contests all around China. And you could say she was pretty much robbing everybody because, again, she was a master of this system that wasn't, it was so effective. And she had all these other guys, she held herself as a prize. So pretty much if you could beat her, then you could marry her, but no one could beat her. Finally, she fell in love with some guy at first sight, Longbok Chao, and lost to him on purpose, married him. 3 years into the wedding, she decides to tell him, well, I can really beat you. And he goes, okay, prove it. And she does. And he becomes her first student. So that's a pretty interesting story. I know the girls like to hear that. They're like, yeah, the girl beat up the guy. So it's a good story. And there are much more stories going down from Longbok Chao to how he taught his nephew and how it just kept being passed on from one person to another, finally to Grandmaster Yip Man, and then finally to Grandmaster William Chung, who's now the heir of the Wing Chun system.
Just a brief history on Sifu Rahsun and myself. My name's Keith Young, and I've been practicing Wing Chun since 1978. Previous to that, I did a modified version of Wing Chun. I did karate and judo before that. I trained 5 years to become an instructor, graduating in 1984. I've been around Australia, taught the Australian Federal Police unarmed combat, the SWAT teams, and other groups of underprivileged kids. Had a few tournament fights back in the 80s.
From New York, started training Wing Chun. Well, I trained a few other systems, maybe half a dozen other systems before Wing Chun, including modified Wing Chun, Western boxing, 7-star Grand Mantis, Fujao Pai, Hungar, karate, judo, a few other systems, but I felt Wing Chun is my home, traditional Wing Chun. I started doing traditional Wing Chun in 1983 under Grandmaster William Chung and one of his students, Master Philip Redmond, who's my instructor. Done a lot of tournaments, fighting tournaments in the New York area. Thanks to the training that I received and the reflexes that I received from this system, all my fights were in my favor. Started doing security for a lot of celebrities in the New York and LA area for quite a while, maybe the last 15 years. And now I'm back here. Grandmaster invited me here to be one of the chief instructors at the school, so it was an honor for me to be here. I want to come out and do this. Actually, these are one of the weapons that are in the Wing Chun system. It's called the butterfly sword, or Ba Chang Do. It means Bak means 8, Chang means slash, Do is swords. So the technique that we use is called the 8/ sword technique. And I can maybe give you a little demonstration. It's a stylized version of the form that we do in Wing Chun. It's kind of my own little, just put it together. So.
you guys to show us now. We're going to show you how to get away from situations, right? And then we will go around and, you know, see a lot of times that, say somebody trying to grab you, you know, in fact, once they grab you, they're going to control your balance and you know, you be in a very, very dangerous situation, right? So in Wing Chun, we teach you to watch the elbow, because for a straight movement, the elbow moves 2.5 times slower than the hand or the fist. For round movement, the elbow is moving at least 4 or 5 times slower. So it's further from your eyes, and also because you look down, you don't look up. You know, the danger in the street is if you look up, somebody bigger than you, you look up, talking to him, and he's going to headbutt you, and you're going to find your nose broken or chip your teeth. So you look up. So he comes in, right? So a push, and then you can get away, right? So what I did was I just flick him in the eye, right? But in here, we won't do that, all right? So you just pretend, right? So you go, flick him in the eye and push. So I turn and run and scream by the time. Very important. Screaming is very important because it's a verbal resistance. Because most thugs, most criminals scared of noise, you know, so you scream. So by the time he finds his balance, you're about 15 feet away from him. And his eyes are tearing. Most likely he's not going to chase you, right? So the eye is the most vulnerable target, right? So, but in here, we're not going to do the flick. We just do it from here. And then the center of gravity is here, so you push the shoulder or somewhere near the shoulder. You push him, he's going to be off balance, you scream, right? And you get away from the situations, right? Okay, so we're going to get you stand up, and Sifu Keith and Sifu Rahsun are going to show you through, right?
Yeah, come to life,
Oh, all right. Welcome to the Chun Academy.
Quiet.
And I trust that you have a very nice lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Sifu Rahsun. Sifu Rahsun is a resident of New York and LA from America, and he's only here for a short time. In fact, he arrived here about 3 weeks ago. Less than 3 weeks ago, and we had the honor of having a Silam monk, martial art Silam soldier monk, and also came over about the same time, and he's teaching Silam Qigong here on the weekend. So if you happen to be in the city, Saturday, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Yeah. And Sifu Rahsun will do a demonstration for you, and then I will give you some idea about anti-bully stranger danger program, you know, a little bit of technique and a little bit of psychology. Right. Okay, let's give Sifu Rahsun. This is called the butterfly sword. In the old days, the monk had to travel and collect funds for the temples and so on, and sometimes they confronted with bandits, you know, with knives and swords and so on. so they have to defend themselves. Right? So the principle of this butterfly sword is you don't maim the person, but you try to frighten or stop the bandit to hurt you. Right? So this is the butterfly sword.
Yeah, since the monks were, with their religious beliefs, they didn't want to kill the people that they were fighting, so they wanted to make sure that, they would just hurt them a little bit, and so they can go home and get healed up, and they wouldn't hurt them too badly. So this is a stylized version of Wing Chun butterfly sword.
While you're here, I just want to tell you a little bit about Wing Chun. It's a very special martial arts system. In fact, it's the only martial arts system in the world developed by a woman. And it was developed roughly about 300 years ago. And at that time, China was ruled by the Manchu, which is for the Qing dynasty. And the Manchu has sort of suppressed we belong to the Han, I think. The Han is about 90% of the population. The Manchu is about 4% of the population. So for them to rule, the rest of the population, they have to put a lot of restriction. So firstly, they bind the feet of the little girl when they're 1 year old. So all the bones, when they grow up, all the bones are crushed. So when they grow up, they have to depend on their parents. When they get married, they have to depend on their husband. When the children grow up, they have to depend on their children because they virtually cripple. And also the Manchu, when they were let in, they make a vow. The vow saying that if they stay after they help curb the Civil War, and if they stay, they would serve China like cannibals, to serve China, the Chinese. So how they break their vow was that they had the pigtail. The pigtail is like the horse's tail, and all the Manchu officials there, from the emperor downward, even the emperor had the hooves, so they salute like the horses. Right? But at that time, Chinese was basically had no position and no job, so that's why a lot of the migrants, the Chinese migrants in Australia, they were at the Manchu time, the Qing dynasty. There's no job, the Manchu bankrupt China. And the five grandmasters decided to organize a revolution. So they emptied all their knowledge and created the principles of Wing Chun, right? And created principle of Wing Chun. And then, but they were raided because somebody tipped the government off. So they were raided, and they were, four of the grandmasters were, arrested and so on. And only the nun, she's not staying in the temple, so she survived, and she put the principle, she put the movement into this system, and it's a very scientific and effective. I want to show you some technique that how to get away from dangerous situations. Right? Firstly, in this Wing Chun system, we teach you to watch the nearest elbow, because when somebody reaching out to you, the elbow is further from your visions, right? When they reach out to you, and you can see better, and also the elbow move up this much, and the palm will move up 2.5 times longer distance. So you watch, right? So you flick to the eye, and you push. By the time he finds his balance, I already 15 feet from the attacker. So I can scream. If I were a little girl, I would scream. I would run across the road, run to where the people are. Right? So that is the self-defense principle, right? And because the eye is a very vulnerable target, and when you touch the eye, these come down, you can't see, and they're not going to, you know. So a lot of times is you're trying to avoid the situation, but you have to deal with it physically. You have to deal with it, you know, very effectively. So you don't want to mess around, right? And you know, I'll show you again. Right? So you always cover your center, always keep your balance, right? So you watch the nearest elbow, and you click and push. That is the most powerful movement in all the body mechanics, because when you extend your arm, it's very, very powerful, especially using two arms. Right? So you always push it to the shoulder or near the shoulder, because the center of gravity is here. So you will topple it. Right? So you have to find his balance, right? Okay. Anyone have any questions? Any requests? Reasonable requests? Yes? Will you say your name first?
Marcus.
Marcus?
Yes.
Okay.
Did he have to do that kick, like the karate kick, how like lift one leg up and then the big one up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do the kick.
What do you?
Do a spinning kick. Something like that? Huh? Yes.
Stan, could you do the 2
Of the 2 inches.
It's actually, with him, it's 1 inch. he's the man who taught Bruce Lee how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was afraid someone would ask that.
I'll bring a photo.
You guys are gonna get me killed.
Yeah. I thought you'd be asking, what if somebody grabbed my hair and how you get out of it? What if somebody grabbed you from behind? How you get out of it? Right. So we have to use Sifu Rahsun. So basically what I do here is turn around this way. So you fall, my late grandmaster will stop. Okay. So from here, so I just move my wrist. Right. Sorry. You didn't see it? He has to work today, so he had a long day today. We have photo shoot later. But it can be done because if I don't move, even I just move an inch, because the speed, right? And I coordinate all my power, and so just send him back, because the center of gravity is here. So you hit here, you're gonna fall. Right? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's a very sorry. That's very intelligent question, right? Because Wing Chun is very scientific, right? You can deal with somebody much bigger, much stronger than you, right? So if the headlock comes in, let me explain to you something, right? You have to know how to protect your vulnerable parts of your body. This is probably the most vulnerable. If you only have 1 second, if they do it right, they can choke you out in 1 second. This part here, just next to it, you have 3 seconds, right? So you are 300 times your life expectancy can extend it 300 times. That's very good. Right? So as the first thing I did was that, so he comes in, right? Comes in here, bang, right? So on the eyes, right? See that on the eyes, and bang. Right? So I strike the most vulnerable part, but you have to watch my feet, right? I'm going to show you slowly, right? So from here, I turn. When I turn, I elbow here, right? I elbow here, and when I elbow there, give me a little bit of room because I cannot do anything because he dragged me back and I lost balance. Once you lost balance, you can't defend yourself, right? So I must find my balance, right? So bang. Now I move my feet here, right? I see how far my left foot is. So I slip my shoulder out here and bang here. And then same thing, that push is very important. That push is send him sort of 15 feet away from you so you can run away. Right? Oh yeah, you also. All right, okay. Yeah, and yes, just one quick question.
What's that and what is it?
Oh, that's a wind dummy. That's see, I will show you like 2 seconds, right? Because downstairs, attorney and accountant complain because I did it so hard. Right? Just 2 seconds. So what we're going to do is, we're going to do something very simple. Somebody grabs you from behind, right? So you turn, flick, push, and then you run and scream, right? Okay? So just make it simple. And so you bend your arm. So when you turn, you just taking care of that elbow, right? And then you flick in here, and you push, you turn with the front foot, and then you run, okay? So from here, right, so turn, flick, push. That's how I scream, I don't know how you scream. Right? So that's very important because you respond instantly, right? And also one advice is, a lot of times that when you go out, you should have your hair all tucked up, not hanging around, because when they grab your hair, it's very hard to get out, and also it's very painful. So it's better not in a ponytail or anything. It's tucked up to your head, right? So that you don't have the hair as a target for the assailant here. You see all the GIs, all the special force, they all had this jack head. They just shave everything, just like him. Shave everything. So you cannot grab the head. Right? So somebody grab shoulder, here, flick, push, and then run. Okay, so I give it to Sifu Keith and Sifu Rahsun for you too. All right? Good. Thank you.
Same 2 lines, I think, please, guys.
One good guy, one bad guy.
Yeah.
So what I would do,
If you get choked on the windpipe, you probably get 1 second. 1 second, if they do it right, will knock you out. If you turn and on the side of here, right, the jugular vein, you get 3 seconds. So you're 3 times, your longevity is 3 times longer, right? So you have to get out there very quick, right? So he comes in, right? Bang, right? So you give you some room, right? You slip around, see my foot? You slip around and you grab the eyes and bang, here. That is probably the most vulnerable target. You can kill somebody on a 25 pounds of force, will break the windpipe and the person will suffocate, right? But, I mean, he's going to drag you, he's going to do horrible things to you, so you have to get out, so you have to do it quick, and so on, right? And Kung Fu, especially Wing Chun, is defensive, not offensive. You do it, you don't fool around with it, because because it's very dangerous. But you use it to save yourself. You use it to protect somebody you love, and so you use it to the right cause. All right? Okay. So
The word in Chinese martial arts is two.
Yeah. Martial arts make up from two words. One is to stop. One is to fight. So the two words combined together. You stop the aggression. So you apply it in the right purpose and right meaning, right? So it's to use that to stop aggression, to stop somebody hurting you or maiming you or hurting somebody you love. So you use that, right? So firstly, say if I'm minding my own business, I'm standing here, and then bang comes in, right? So I come down on my stance, and this will stun him and give you a little bit of room, and also you turn your head, right? So you slip around here, you grab, gouge the eye, and bang on here, right? And don't forget the push and scrim, right? We want that push and scrim. It's very important, In fact, the scrim actually calm you down. I don't know whether, I hope you haven't had any experience, a lot of times that something happened, you go, ah! And then you become calm, right? So the scream is very good. And also scare the other person, right? And then you must run away, because, see, a lot of times that little gangs, they operate, and you do that, you actually scare the other member of the gang. So they look, what? So, and they stay there, and then 2 seconds you'll be 20 meters away, right? Or 25. Okay. So I'm going to let Sifu Rahsun and Sifu Keys to run through the steps with you, right? And then slowly you learn this, right? Okay. Thanks, Sam. Thank you.
Let's go, guys.
All right. Good guys and bad guys.
Right, same 2 lines, please.
Situation that you most likely you think you right. Okay. I want to show you somebody grabbed your arm, grabbed your wrist, right? Somebody grabbed your arm, right? Because he's grabbing your arm, he's controlling your arm. He's not, also you are controlling his arm, right? Because he's holding on. So this arm is, you don't need to deal with this one, right? You only have to worry about it drag you or balances, right? So you step out, flick, and the door is here. The door is where the finger and the thumb are meeting. It's just like the exit door, like the door over there, right? So you're going to get out, you push and pull, you get out, right? So flick, push and pull, and you push and squim, okay? So from here, flick, push and pull, push. I turn around this way, okay? So where the fingers and here, okay? So you flick here, push and pull, right? So you pull out across here, and then because when you touch his eye, he's tearing down and can't see. Then you push him, and then you run. Okay. So from here, so this is your this grab. Your fingers are pointing down. Your fingers are pointing down. Right? So it also works for your fingers are pointing up this way. Flick, push, and push and pull. And you can run away. All right? Okay? Good. Next time.
So pair up. Good guys and bad guys again.
Before you start doing it, when you get shown a technique, make sure you practice the technique you're being shown, because we don't want anybody getting hurt in here or fooling around. So we've got to be very careful.
Yeah. See, see, if you practice what we show you, you will not get hurt. You'll not hurt somebody, right? It's only when you start fooling around, you know, you get into, you know.
I think that was a hint for no silliness, guys.
Yeah. Okay. So you know the principle is to get as far away from your attacker, from your assailant as possible, and you do it as quickly as possible, right? And a lot of because the society is very complicated now, so you've got to be alert when you go out or even in any situations, right? We did I do a lot of work over in America, and we did a survey, and with the FBI actually asked we went around and asked all the criminals, you know, what are their soft targets? What are they? What they aim for? So out of 1,000 people we asked, and the result was that it's not. They don't target the old people. They don't target the cripple. They don't target the young people. They target the person who is not paying attention. You know, so when you are, you know, paying attention, that means preparing. So if you're alert, most likely trouble won't follow you, right? You're alert, especially, you know, if you happen to be, you know, going out to a show or something, and you have to be alert. You cannot keep dragging your feet, right? Sifu Rahsun probably can tell you a few things that in New York, there's a few rules in New York, right? And I'll let him tell you a few things.
Well, it's different in New York a lot. One thing is, no one makes eye contact with other people in New York. That's a big thing. There's a lot of pickpockets, a lot of crime, a lot of people just, again, they just look for an easy target. You know, and if you're walking around and not paying attention, you have money sticking out of your pocket, they're gonna go for it. If they feel that, you know, that you're not really paying attention to what's going on, they'll take advantage of it. That's from New York to LA, I mean, all over the place.
It's not paying attention, so that's why it's no good. When you go out and you know, you focus where you're going to go, you focus, so less likely you're going to get into trouble, right? Like at home safety, you know, you make sure you lock your windows, make sure you lock your back door, front door, and make sure, you know, you don't have letters or these junk mails that hang around outside your letterbox, because the criminal think there's no one lives there, or you go on holiday. So you know, those little things very important. And I want to run through also to deal with. I'm sure that you don't have bully in your school. You don't. I know that, right? But in case, right? See, one of the things that we advise people is that most people respect somebody, they respect them. So if you behave, you know, doesn't matter, you know this guy has been pushing people around, and you still say, okay, you know, show him respect, he'll respect you, right? So another way to deal with it is numbers make safety. So if you have a couple of good friends, you always stay together. So you pretty safe, you know, because 3 of you, 2 of you together all the time, right? And thirdly, then you must report to the authority, to the school, you know, whoever, right? But that is just generally I'm speaking, right? And stranger danger in the street, right? That's very true, you know, in New York and LA. LA is like New York. people ask you what time it is, how to get to Times Square, nobody would answer. Nobody, because you mind your own business, then you don't get into trouble. Not that because they don't want to help other people, right? So I think, you know, we're still very friendly city in Melbourne, right? But I would advise that it's not that you don't want to help somebody, but the trouble if you're going along and he asks me what time it is, I stop, and then one of his mates would jump me from behind, and you know, next thing you know, I lost my wallet, lost my watch, probably get beat up and so on. Yeah, that's what happened. So it's better because it's better ignoring strangers, right? So this is called stranger danger. Okay. Any questions? Anything? Right. So I would want to run through the technique that we do today, and also I would want to copy it on the DVD and send it to you, and so you can review it. And a lot of this technique is very useful. It's very useful, right? And so we'll run through the technique again, right? So you watch the elbow, right? See, you see, I always put my hand in the center because protect my center, right? If you do that, yeah, you leave this wide open, and it's very dangerous, right? So you always keep your hand in the center, and also you always be humble, even though towards your opponent or potential opponent or attacker, because a lot of times that you know, psychologically, you know, you're not antagonizing the other person if you keep your hands in the center here, or please let me go, you know, right? So you keep your hand in the center and you watch, right? See, you see, I never step in there, right? If I step in there, and I gotta deal with the other arm, right? So I step on the blind side, and I only deal with one arm at a time, right? That is the wonder of Wing Chun, you know, which is a system that developed by a woman, you know, and this system is so powerful. You know, we have world boxing champions, we'll have world full contact champions, and also in America we were selected for the Olympics and so on. You know, so it's very, very powerful, very scientific. So you watch, right, there, flick, and then you go. Right. I turn to you. Okay. So from here, right. So you can go, right? Okay. Don't forget to scream. Okay. And then the other one is the grab to the hand, right? Same thing, you flick, right? And you pull out from the door as you push, right? You pull out from the door as you push, right? So you go from here, you flick, move out, and push. And then you can run away. All right? Okay? So the other one is the headlock, right? A headlock, and bang, right? Straight away you turn, and you expose this side here. Where do you go? Right? Here. Not here. Then you're gone. One side drag kick. Gone. Stop. Finish. Because you got to protect here. So you turn. You got 3 times longer to live. Okay. So and balance, right? And then balance, and here. Then you can push him away, and then you can run, right? So that's the last one.
Just a grab from the shoulder.
Oh yeah, a grab from the shoulder, right? So you turn, see the elbow. The elbow is very important because once you control the elbow, it controls the fist and also control his balance, right? And you have a leverage advantage because I can move him around from the elbow, right? So from here, flick, push, and then you can run away, right? And this can also extend to dealing with weapons and so on, right? Like I just want to show you, right? A baseball bat, right? See, understand the science is very important. Understand the science, right? Knowing where to look and how to create an angle, right? So he comes in, he throws right here, right? And I can, because leverage, he's holding it here, there's no rooms here, and I hold it, I hold it outside. So, and also I block with the mid part of my body, so I jam it up. I stabilize here, right? And then don't forget that push, very important, because by the time he finds his balance, you are 20 feet away. He's not going to chase you. He's not going to chase you, right? So this can extend to anything, knife and so on, right? We'll be going down to lunch soon, in about 15 minutes. So any requests, anything that you want me to cover? Okay, I'll show you. So he grabbed both arms. Both arms. In fact, I rather him grabbing me both arms because he cannot hurt me. He's just holding, right? As long as he doesn't drag me off balance. All right? So to get out of it, you have to use a little bit of psychology. Try to distract him, right? So, sorry. So I do a double clap, right? I do a double clap, right? Remember, this is the door, right? So I go, and then straight away, right? I'm going to turn it around, right? So from here, right, and then push, right? So it's the same way, two, right? Okay. So you go 1, 2, right? You pull out 1, 2, and then strike or flick to the eye, right? And then push, right? That push, very important. Okay. So maybe we run this one, and we stand up and head up.
2 lines, please, guys.
So to give you an idea, firstly, this represents obviously the body, the head and the body. This represents the lead leg. This represents anything coming, the arms up to the elbow, anything coming up top. This represents anything coming towards the body, right? So maybe against round punches or straight punches.
All right, come on, give it up.
You have to learn which part of the arm to block, right? Because some of this could be a kick, some of it could be, even weapons or something, right? So you train certain part of the arm that you learn how to block and how to position yourself to counter attack. So, okay, so. I just want to find a little knife. Somebody want to know how to deal with the knife. Okay. See with knife, right? If somebody because you cannot block the blade, right? So I always advise people how to think out of the box, how to, you know, and you must learn how to improvise. If you have your, you know, have your bag with you or something, you can use that to flop, right? Or if you can take your shoes off, you put your hand in the shoes, right? So if he jabs in here, right? Here, right? So you pin him down, right? So this point here, right? I actually would put my knee on his elbow, but I will break his arm. So I knee him here. So you strike here. You have to neutralize this person, so knock him out. So you take this off him, right? So I'll do it slowly. Right? I'll do it slowly for you. Right? Basically, you have to step out of the way, right? So he comes in, right? So you block in here. You swing him around, right? So from here, right? And then you drop your knee here, right? And then you, right? And you see, I'm on the outside, on the blind side of him, right? I do want to make an announcement. In the before you go, I'm going to give you a little package to take home, just a magazine and our brochure. And also next Saturday, if you happen to be in Melbourne, between 11 to 2, there will be a continuous demonstration. We have an open day, and also we have a Shaolin warrior monk in here teaching Qigong. You have to book because, you know, we have two levels, you know, but there's so many people, right? So you have to ring us up and put your name there, otherwise you won't get in because we're limited to 35 people, right? So in there, you happen to be in city, then you're welcome to come and have a look at it, right? Okay, and before you gotta go to eat and then come back here, isn't it? Right. So I think what we should do is that we should organize ourselves. I also have a little banner to give to the school. A little banner to give the school. Maybe we do that when we come back from. So we should do a photo now.
Okay.
Huh? Okay. So
It comes around, you can stop it here, turn around, check. Okay. So again,